1,133, 1,079. This is SIG Bros versus SIG Elite Defense Revisited. We are out here at the beautiful Banner shooting range today, and we are going to be revisiting the SIG Bros ammo versus the SIG Elite Defense ammo. Unlike in our previous video, I did caliber test these two ammos, and there's about approximately 5/1000ths of an inch difference in the overall length, which hard to spot with the naked eye. The ammo that we're shooting, we have one box each from the same lot of ammo as our previous video, as well as a box of each from a different lot of ammo. And there is actually about 5/1000ths of an inch difference between these two lots of ammo in terms of the Rose ammo. The Elite Defense, it might be 2/1000ths of an inch. Don't worry, in the graphics portion of today's video, I'll put those numbers up on the screen. I'm also going to load our magazines on camera today, though we'll fast forward or cut through that part. I'm just doing it on camera so that way I can make sure that I'm actually loading the ammo in the magazine that I said I was loading. We'll start today with our SIG Rose ammo, and we're going to velocity test it again to start the day. Let me get 5 in this magazine. I also brought along the same 2 firearms for our test today. We'll be using the P365 with its 3.1-inch barrel, and our Glock G48 with its 4.1-inch barrel. Okay, we have 5 rounds of each loaded into our magazines. Let me get our Doppler started here. Now, if you recall our last video, or if you haven't watched it, what you'll find when you go back and watch that video is that it was sort of opposite day. What we expected to be the lower recoil, less velocity Rose ammo actually had a higher velocity and more felt recoil compared to that Elite Defense. Let's see if that trend continues or is different today. Again, starting with our SIG Rose ammo, bottom left target. (1,133), 1,139, 1,129, 1,131, 1,141. Those numbers seem very similar to what we got last week. Let's do our G48 now. This one I will shoot at our bottom right-hand target. Now, if you've watched our last video, you'll remember that my G48 did not like this Rose ammo. Let's see if that trend continues today. I did happen to clean all these firearms in between our last video and this video, which usually I don't clean them but every couple thousand rounds. So here we go. G48 plus the Rose ammo. Okay, we are not in battery. The same trend is continuing. 1,184. 1,192. 1,183. We're not in battery again. 1,197. 1,208, with 2 failures to go into battery, almost identical to what we saw in our previous video. Let's now load 5 of our Elite Defense for both these firearms, and we'll see how that goes. If I recall correct, the Rose ammo is about 5/1000ths of an inch longer compared to the Elite Defense. I might have that backwards. When we get to the graphics portion of today's video, we'll know for sure. Starting again with the P365, this time the Elite Defense top left-hand target. $1,079, $1,092, $1,077, $1,066, $1,085. So, in a similar trend as last week, lower velocity so far with our Elite Defense. And now 5 shots of that Elite Defense, our top right-hand target from our G48. All this is gone right here. 1,152, 1,111, 1,144, 1,107, 1,137.
Ceasefire.
Okay, during our velocity test, our same trend as last week continued. Higher velocity with the SIG Rose ammo compared to our SIG Elite Defense. Let's do 5 more shots this time. Trying to assess the recoil, starting with the SIG Rose ammo at our bottom left-hand target. Here we go. Okay, let me load 5 rounds of SIG Elite Defense. And I'm using the same pinky extension magazine just to rule out any influence the no extension may have had. Here we go. This will be at the top left-hand target. And I'm going with, at least with our 3.1-inch barrel of the 365, the Rose ammo had more felt recoil. Let's see what happens now with our G48. Now off camera, thought I didn't load one there for a second. Off camera, I did plunk this ammo while the range was first hot. It seemed to pass that test just fine. Let's see if it has that same failure to go into battery issue as the last 5. Okay, that's 1. Okay, 1 failure to go into battery still. Let's load in the 5 Elite Defense now. Finish off this box. This will be at our top right-hand target.
Good.
Okay, no issues. And again, maybe slightly more felt recoil with the Rose ammo, which seems to contradict what SIG's website says. Now, since we have the different lot of SIG Rose ammo, let's repeat that velocity test, starting again with our SIG P365. Here we go, starting with the P365. $1,066, 1,134, 1,103, 1,119, 1,129. Maybe slightly less velocity on paper, but probably within the difference of one round or the next. We'll tell when we get to the graphics portion. Let's do 5 shots at our bottom right hand target again with the G48, and we'll see if this different lot of ammo that is 2 to 3 1,000ths of an inch shorter compared to the last lot, if that's enough to make a difference in terms of making it function, enabling it to function reliably in this firearm. Here we go. I forgot to create a new shot sample. Hold on a second. 1,109, 1,159, 1,161, 1,170, 1,154, and you'll notice at least so far with that box, it's actually functioned halfway decent from our G48 finally. Interesting. And one more repeat. Let's now do that SIG Elite defense from that second lot of ammo and see how the velocity numbers compare to the previous lot. Starting with our P365 again. Here we go. 1,047, 1,065, 1,075, 1,095, 1,111. And finally, 5 more from our G48. Let's see how this goes. Here we go. 1,110, 1,110, 1,156, 1,142, 1,133. We'll begin the graphics portion of today's video discussing the SIG Rose ammo. The lot from our previous video and the beginning of this video we'll call Lot A. Lot A had an average overall length of 1.1 inch. For our test last week, the average velocity from the 3.1 inch barrel was 1,134 feet per second. Today, coincidentally enough, our average velocity from that same firearm was again 1,134 feet per second. For 328.3 foot-pounds of energy on average. Out of the 4.1 inch barrel of our G48, last week our average velocity was 1,175 feet per second for 353.5 foot-pounds of energy. This week, that rose slightly to 1,193 feet per second for 363.4 foot-pounds of energy. Though those numbers are so close, you could probably say they're within the realm of one round to the next. We'll call the second lot of ammo for the Rose Lot B. This ammo had an average overall length of 1.095 inches, or 5,000ths of an inch shorter. The average velocity from our 3.1 inch barrel was a little less at 1,110 feet per second for 314.6 foot-pounds of energy. Out of our 4.1 inch barrel, again, that average velocity was slightly less at 1,150 feet per second for 337.6 foot-pounds of energy. Those numbers again are fairly close, and you could probably make the argument they're again within the range of one round or the next. Moving now to the SIG Elite Defense, we're again going to call the test ammo from last week and the beginning of today's video Lot A. For Lot A, The average overall length was 1.095 inches. Out of the 3.1-inch barrel of our SIG P365, last week our average velocity was 1,068 feet per second. This week it climbed a little to 1,080 feet per second for 297.8 foot-pounds of energy. Out of the 4.1-inch barrel of our G48, both last week and this week, similar to the Rose ammo with the 365, our average velocity both days came out to 1,130 feet per second for 326 foot-pounds of energy. Our Lot B for the SIG Elite Defense ammo had an average overall length of 1.094 inches, or 1/1000th of an inch shorter, really probably not any shorter. The average velocity for the Lot B came out to 1,078 feet per second, or 10 feet per second faster than our Lot A result, which yielded 296.7 foot-pounds of energy on average. Moving to our 4.1-inch barrel, and we see an amazing amount of consistency here. We again had an average velocity of 1,130 feet per second for 326 foot-pounds of energy. As we wind down this video, we'll just reuse a graphic from last week because the numbers are close enough. And we saw here again on our retest that the Rose ammo had higher velocity and more felt recoil than expected. And I would go as far as to say, at least from my firearms in the last 2 weeks of shooting it, it didn't feel very low recoil like advertised on SIG's website. And our Elite Defense, again, we saw lower than expected velocity and more mild recoil. And since I grabbed from different places of the shelf this time, I don't really, again, think we can tinfoil hat and say someone just mixed up the boxes. Though I do kind of wonder if maybe the recipe for that Elite Defense has been tweaked, at least at some point in the last year. If we flash back to a graphic from last year when we did our gel test for this ammo, we can see that our average velocity using the same firearm, same chronograph, probably slightly different but similar weather, and our average velocity then was 1,163 feet per second for 345 foot-pounds of energy, which was much closer to the advertised and expected velocity than what we got these last 2 weeks, and about 100 feet per second more velocity than what we got recently as well, which is very interesting. The last takeaway from today's video is we again saw a good example of why you should confirm your carry ammo works in your firearm before you decide to rely upon it, and also that, at least between lots and time, ammo can change. We've seen the velocity change on this Elite Defense in the last year, and just in the last 2 weeks, we saw that one lot of Rose ammo seemed to not work very well at all in our G48, and the second lot, in a limited sample, at least was more functional. And anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, like the video, share it with your friends and family, drop a comment on there. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you'd like to help us make more videos like this, or the plethora of ballistic gel videos that have recently hit the channel, look into becoming a member. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice night.